Good morning. My name is Amy Fitzpatrick. I serve as County Solicitor and Chief Legal Officer for the County Commissioners and the County of Bucks. Since joining the county in 2020, I have sought to meet this administration's mandate to be on the cutting edge of fighting affirmatively for Bucks County and its residents. Our commissioners have demonstrated their willingness to take on opioid manufacturers, social media giants, and PFAS manufacturers. Today, it is my honor to introduce our commissioners as they announce the county's latest fight, taking on big oil for their deceptive practices in addressing the impact of climate change. Today, Bucks County became the first county in Pennsylvania to take action against major oil and gas companies and the American Petroleum Institute for deceiving Bucks County residents about the calamitous effects of their products on the climate. Bucks County brings this action on its own behalf and in its capacity as a trustee of the public natural resources of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, to hold these companies accountable for the damage they have caused by their decades-long climate deception campaign under common law claims of strict liability, negligent product liability, negligence, public nuisance, private nuisance, trespass, and civil conspiracy. I'd like to introduce Chair of our Board of Commissioners, Diane Marseglia.
Thank you. Good morning. You know what? In 1965, I started kindergarten, and those were the years when we were deathly afraid of nuclear war. We were constantly seeing where the fallout shelter was, and there was practices, and I remember going home, and every night I would say a prayer that Russia would not attack us. And I remember that stayed with me for years. But I knew who the enemy was, and I knew there were people out there to protect me. But today's child faces a different enemy. They face an enemy that, as I said, is an absolute calamity on our society. And the very people who are responsible for it are putting the gas in today's child's car. So someone has to stand up for them. I hear too many young adults actually tell me they are worried about having children because they don't know what the world will be like. That isn't fair, it's wrong, and it is someone's fault, and it's our job to point that out. In recent years, Bucks County has experienced unprecedented weather events that have repeatedly put both our residents and our first responders at risk. We already see the human and financial toll that climate change is giving across this country. It's from oil companies, and if our data is to be believed, this trend will continue. This suit is our tool to recoup the costs and fund the public works projects like bolstering or replacing bridges, retrofitting county-owned buildings, and commencing stormwater management projects, all of which will put us in a better possible situation to stand the weather events in the future. I thank you for being here to witness this because this is a momentous and important step.
Thank you. I'd now like to introduce Commissioner Bob Harvey.
Thank you. As Commissioner Marseglia said, and our solicitor, Amy Fitzpatrick, pointed out, this is in many ways a historic event precipitated by historic challenges. The world has seen threats before in many ways. The nuclear threat that Commissioner Marseglia mentioned, certainly threats in the past from different diseases and viruses. This threat really is existential, as we're threatening the climate of this planet. We have been the most environmentally conscious Board of Commissioners this county's ever seen. We're very proud of the work we have done, and we will continue to do that work to protect our residents, protect the businesses, protect the people who visit Bucks County, live in Bucks County. Since we've come into office, we have recognized the fact that environmental stewardship is our responsibility. We do know that the future in the near term, certainly probably in our lifetimes, will include oil and gas. We can't stop using fossil fuels immediately. At some point, we will need to transition more rapidly, and we've been working on that. The steps we've taken include making the environment a focal point of the transition report that we initiated back in 2019 following the election of that year. That transition report has been a guideline for us. We continue to use it in the steps it's outlined, not just in environmentalism, but for finance, for buildings, everything else. We adopted the Sierra Club's Ready for 100 initiative. We've appointed the first ever sustainability officer and planner in the history of this county. We are a few weeks away from the release of the very first climate action plan ever written by this county, done in conjunction with Penn State University. We are engaged with our other Collier County neighbors, Delaware, Chester, Montgomery counties, in a historic power purchase agreement, where we are combining our efforts to purchase energy, greener energy, so that it's more sustainable, so that it's more responsible. These are the bigger changes. We've done smaller changes, purchasing electric vehicles, LED light bulbs. We're building a solar field at a property in the Lower Bucks, near where the future Lower Bucks Government Services Center will go. All the while we are doing these steps, we know they're necessary. They're necessary because of the pollution that has already been done or emitted, the damage that's already been done, but it's also running uphill against an active campaign by the oil and gas industry to undermine these efforts and to mislead the American public.
Thank you. I'd now like to introduce Commissioner DiGirolamo.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. And first I want to thank Amy and everybody in your department for the work on putting this together. I was just thinking, standing here, what my grandfather would be thinking right now. And in my previous life, I used to be a farmer. And I don't know if that's the right words to use, because once you're a farmer, it's like you're always a farmer. You never forget, almost on a daily basis, what you'd be doing that part of the year, what crops you would be harvesting, what you would be doing. And certainly, when I was a farmer, the weather played a very, very important role on what we would be doing on a daily basis. I mean, we would watch the weather as an effect on planting, on harvesting. And I'll be very honest with you, we had some really bad weather back in the 60s and 70s and 80s when I was farming and my family was farming. We're headquartered in Bensalem. But I just never remember the extreme weather conditions that we've had here, not only in Bucks County, but I mean throughout the region and throughout the country. Extreme weather crises and conditions. I never remember over the last 10 years how many people it has affected. And you can see by some of the pictures that are on the screen, some of them are there in Bensalem a couple of years ago, where a whole condo community just about got wiped out from an extreme weather and the rain. So, so why are we here today? And I said I used to be a farmer. I also used to be a state representative. And I'm a Republican, and protecting our climate should not be a partisan issue. This is something that Democrats and Republicans should really be concerned about. And I'm very proud from my work up in Harrisburg that I think what year it is, that there is like a legislative scorecard on the environment for a 2-year session. And I was the very first House Republican back in 2016, 2018 to get 100% record scorecard rating on that environmental scorecard. And these are all the environmental groups throughout the state. The environment and protecting the environment and climate change is very important to me. And that's one of the reasons that I'm standing here today, to support what we're doing here in Bucks County. I think it's the right thing to do. We need to get the attention of these big energy company and oil companies they realize what's happening. They have to realize what's happening. Climate change is real, and it's going to affect us in negative ways the more we go on as we don't start paying attention to this and doing something about it. Now, we're filing a suit to maybe try to recoup some of the expenses that have cost the counties and some of our municipalities because of this, but we also want to get the attention of everybody, including the energy companies, to let's work together. Let's work together and make this better. It's our children, our grandchildren that are going to be affected by this in the coming years if we don't start doing something about it. So I feel very proud to be able to stand here with my other two commissioners. I think this is the right thing to do, and I think we have to get the attention of these energy companies, and we have to work together to make this better because it's getting worse. It really is, and we all know it. We all know it. So thank you all for being here. It's good to be with you.